Hello, I'm Madeline Tynan from the Tynan Motor Group, and here today I'm with Nicholas Tynan. He is looking after our Suzuki and Hyundai brands, which are up at KIrrawee on the highway. Welcome, Nicholas. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great. Can you just give us a little bit of an update of exactly what's happening out there in dealerland as far as your two brands that you're looking after?
Yeah, sure. As we all know, since the sort of COVID pandemic started in 2020, stock's been our biggest issue. So we haven't had a lot of cars.
Not just in your brands either,
No.
that's right across the board.
No, that's right. That's across the board, no matter what brand you go to, there's going to be a pretty dramatic wait on cars. So in our Hyundai franchise, we've got a little bit of stock sort of trickling through from time to time, but basically majority of our cars are from factory order. But look, us and the team down there at Tynan Hyundai, we made a decision to basically have a demonstrator of each individual vehicle. So we've got one of each engine variant available for test drive, and then we take orders from there.
So that when you're saying that, it used to be that I think the average around to test drive a vehicle when we look at it in the industry, most of your clients would have gone to 4 or 5 dealers to have a look at cars and make up their mind, etc. Now, really, it's a one deal landing, and getting the stock for them is an order basis only.
Correct. Yeah. So what I'm finding, a lot of the customers that do come into us, we're getting a lot of people from sort of interstate, from all around different parts of New South Wales, because a lot of dealers just don't have the stock to test drive. Yeah.
Right. So what have you got in at the moment that's exciting? I love the N lines. I mean, we've got the Kona N, the i20N, the i30N, the i30N sedan. I mean, it's a real enthusiast car,
For sure.
isn't it?
Yeah. It sort of took me by surprise when Hyundai started bringing out all these sort of sports cars.
Well, it used to be like Subaru WRX was always trendy, the Mitsubishi. Now N-Class has really taken away.
So the N is, literally, as you said, sort of I grew up sort of idolising, your WRXs, your WRX STIs, all that sort of vehicles, I suppose you could say. And now Hyundai's literally taken that and run with it. The first i30N we had about 4 years ago. Now we've expanded, so we've got i20N, we've got Kona N, we've got the i30N sedan, and now we're moving into the M line series, which is literally taking the best design aspects of the car, and we're putting it into your Tucson and your i30s as well. So you do get the style, looks and feel of an N, but you don't have to get that really aggressive suspension setup and the style, the sound, that sort of stuff. It's awesome. I really, really like it.
Okay, so run me through that again. You've just that's what I loved about it as well too, is the sound that comes out of that car, the suspension, the way it grabs on the road. Obviously, with our background with my father who started the company, Nicholas's grandfather, that's how he started in the industry, by rally driving. It's really a dream to drive, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, well, it's some people's dream, some people's nightmare. I certainly love it. As you said, you'd love it. We like to ask people before they test drive an i20N or an i30N, look, is this really the car for you? Because a lot of people think just because it's the top of the range one that they're going to love it, but it's really a driver's car. You really feel the road. It grips, it sounds crazy. We get a lot of complaints from people saying it's too loud.
Can you change that though?
Yeah, it's all dialed in. You can literally make custom modes on the car. It's all electronic, so you can turn, all the exhaust off, but turn all the other performance in there. And the great thing about Hyundai as well, everything's all track warranty too. So as long as it's not
meaning for people that don't understand what you're talking about there, what does that mean?
So you can take your i30N, your i20N straight onto a track. If anything happens, it's all covered under warranty. As long as it's not a timed event, so you're not racing other people on the track.
Right.
You can go out, have a track day, play around on the track with your friends. But if anything does happen, it's all covered under warranty.
And how does it go off road? Have you been out there with one of the N classes on that?
The N's probably not sort of an off-road car,
right?
But specifically just track. Yeah,
just track.
They do have a couple of the cars. They did the Targa Rally down in Tassie a couple of years ago. They had a couple of the fastbacks in that. So more of a road driver's car.
And when you're saying, what age brackets are you saying, or is it really varied?
It is so varied. You'll get above your P plates, because they're not obviously P plate legal. You'll get your 20 to 26 year olds. You'll get 60-year-olds that just want a car that makes noises and they can go on the weekends, and it's bizarre. Like, I've never seen a car that sort of you know, you can't put a circle around the people. And the people that really do buy them, they love it.
Hyundai have been at the forefront of design and technology and lessening emissions, everything, and really, you know, I think their whole design team has really taken it a long way. This new car now, if you talk us through for the family, you know, how many seats, and just run us through that you're selling now for family.
So the Palisade, or we've got...
Well, you've got two, haven't you?
We've got the Santa Fe, that's a 7-seater. We've got the Palisade, that's a 7 or an 8-seater. Or we've got the Staria, which is the people mover. So we used to
I forgot the Staria. That's very true.
The Staria is a car that's sort of, you know, a lot of people don't really like the look of. Then they drive it. I know Luke Willis has been in it for probably 6 months now, and I honestly can't pry him out of the car. He just loves it. So the Staria, the Palisade, and the Santa Fe, they're all built off the same platform. So they all share the same, you know, field drive on the road, but just
even the Staria does.
Yeah. So if you get the Staria, you get in the diesel. It is the same 2.2 diesel that is in the Palisade and the Santa Fe, and it is all-wheel drive too.
I was blown away with the technology that's in those cars and the comfort. Like you're all of a sudden moving from, you know, back, I've been around a long time, the initial Hyundais for, you know, like 12,990, 11,990 to this magnificent machine that takes a family with the comfort of any top European car.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine actually pick up their Santa Fe Highlander this week, and he was saying the exact same thing. He said his first ever car on his B plates was an XL, and he said, you know, they still actually have that particular car in his family today. So it's been 20 years and it's still got it, still running. But when I was running him through the Santa Fe, you know, we could drive the car with the key on the fob. You just drive it backwards and forwards. He just blown away.
So when you say that the key, you can completely be remote with the car.
Correct, yeah. So we've got a couple of cars that have remote start on the key. We've got a couple of cars here with the Smart Park, we call it. So you can move the car, you know, in and out of tight car spaces, you know, or next to a pole, anything like that. And then we've just introduced our Blue Link feature on our Palisade. So the Blue Link is completely via your phone, so similar to Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
You can literally get into the app on the phone. It's all connected. You can start your car, put the windows down, open your sunroof, put your heated seats on, cooling seats on, you name it. It can be done. You can even project an address to, you know, Pizza Hut down the road, straight onto it, and it'll go when you jump into your car. That address will be in the sat nav. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is in across the board, or is that
only in the Palisade, the brand new 2023 spec, in the Highlander, so the top spec.
Right, and that's an order basis as well too.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We've got one down there as a demonstrator, so people can come and have a look. I'll have that for quite some time.
And do you suggest actually to ring and make a pre-booking to test drive the cars?
Definitely. That's probably the biggest change that we've had. We used to have a lot of, you know, walk-ins, test drives. You know, they just come in any time and test drive. Now we spend majority of our time with appointments.
Right.
So yeah, give us a call.
Or you can send it through the website or
send
Facebook.
Through the website. That's probably easier to go through the website. We can literally lock a time. You can go onto the website. It's really, really easy. You can book a time, and then I just literally, we just book it into our calendar and we have it. So when you're ready to rock and roll, we've allocated that time for you, and you'll take the car.
Can I just discuss with you too restaffing?
Yep.
Obviously, everyone in Australia, I mean, there's a summit going on at the moment about staffing and the lack of being able to get good quality staff.
Yeah.
That's one thing that you've been able to keep really solid up there in your department. You've got how many staff up there?
I've got 4 in Hyundai plus myself, and I've got 2 guys in Suzuki.
And you've really kept that stable, even though we've been through the pandemic and we've been, you know, on limited times on days, etc. And we've now come back to flat out. How did that work for you?
Look, it was a difficult time. Even for myself, you know, especially like the first lockdown didn't really affect us too badly in terms of staff. That second or third one, I don't even remember. When we actually got shut down, that was pretty difficult for the first couple of days. But you know, we all banded together as a team. We weren't allowed to open the doors, but the guys, you know, we still had cars coming through. So we had customers that had ordered their cars sort of 12, 18 months before, and their cars were due to arrive. So we had to get the cars out. It was just a different time. You know, we're delivering cars on trucks or doing click and collect. We'd have to, you know, the car would be out the front of the showroom, we'd be behind a closed door and sort of FaceTime them and show them how it all works. But we just made it work. But the team really came together, which was something.
And has that changed going forward as far as the way you sell cars with clients now? Like, do you think that's changed the perception of a client wanting to buy a car?
Yeah.
Because so much more is online as well.
Yeah, I'd say a lot more stuff is done through email, a lot more stuff like even now like brochures. You know, brochures that when I started, sort of 15 years ago, brochures were the number one thing. You had to have brochures, and you know the brochures would come through every 6 months. We'd get new brochures. You have to throw out all the old brochures. Now brochures just don't exist. It's all electronic. So that was probably the biggest shift that I've seen. And customers are okay with it. A lot of manufacturers were pretty scared to throw away
the brochures. Yep.
But you know that's our biggest change. We just don't have brochures anymore. I used to have boxes and boxes, and this is organised here. But now it's just you walk in, we can email it directly to you.
Even business cards too. I find
business
they're
cards,
not
pretty much
working.
everything. It's just that paper is sort of declined, which is pretty good.
Now, when we look at Hyundai and their social responsibility,
Yep.
aligns with the Tynan Motor Group's philosophy as well too. Do you want to run through that a little bit? I mean, obviously, you know, we don't believe in being in a community if we're not helping. And through the Michael Tynan Challenge, we do a lot of work within the community and give back to medical research.
Yeah.
Hyundai, they're amazing the way they help in the community.
So Hyundai's got their own sort of charity they run, like Hyundai Help for Kids, which I'm sure you would have seen. And they send us out an update all the time. They put together some money into a pool, and they really do awesome work with that. And we do.
They specialise in children?
Yes, they do. They specialise in children. Obviously, they had a really big rapport with Hyundai A-League through sponsorship. They don't do that anymore, but they are internationally really, really involved with soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. But they sponsor a lot of teams, a lot of local teams, that sort of stuff. They do a lot of work, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And congratulations on the way that you handle yourself within Tynan Motors, and also that your results that you're getting out of your team, Suzuki and Hyundai, and we'll definitely be having a chat next month.
Yeah, thanks. Good to have your mum in the marketing department.
Thank you, Nicholas.